Hello and welcome back to a new episode, Halfway with Hathaway. George Hathaway here. A lot of good conversations today. And I got a great interview with one of my good buddies, Tony. That's going to be coming in later in the episode. Make sure to stay tuned to that. But first, NFL season. We are getting towards the end. It's almost the time for the NFL playoffs. Who's winning MVP? Because, oh my goodness, right now, Brock Purdy absolutely is playing terrible right now. Dak Prescott has been off. Who do I think is going to win MVP? Okay, here's who it's going to be, and then here's who the NFL is going to pick. Those are the two different scenarios that we are going to be seeing. I think Christian McCaffrey deserves MVP. I think he certainly does. NFL needs a running back to win MVP again. We need to stop with the QBs, but what's going to happen? It's going to be a QB. That's who the NFL is going to pick now. Who? I don't know. Probably Lamar Jackson at this rate, but right now, Baker Mayfield has more touchdowns and more passing yards than Lamar Jackson. So is it going to be Baker Mayfield? Probably not. Because he's not getting the buzz right now that he is in Tampa Bay versus the number one team in the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson leading the way. But Christian McCaffrey deserves it. Tyreek Hill is another great candidate for it. But yet again, is the NFL going to do that? That's the real question. Is the NFL going to pick a non-QB to win NFL MVP? I don't think so. It sucks, but I think that's just the true reality of it all, is that they're going to pick somebody who's a quarterback. That's reality in today's NFL. I'm happy it's not going to be Patrick Mahomes, though. He doesn't deserve it. I mean, he has the most interceptions that we've seen all throughout his career, and I think that we're actually finally now seeing the true colors of Patrick Mahomes. This is what we saw him in Texas Tech. Christian McCaffrey certainly deserves it. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL right now. No doubt about it. He's a complete beast. I would love to have him on a team. One of my favorite teams, the New England Patriots. Would love to have him on there. I'm so content with Zeke and Ramondre Stevenson, though. I'm just big fans of both their games. But that's the reality of the NFL MVPs, that it's going to go to a quarterback. So it's most likely going to be Lamar Jackson. I don't think Brock Purdy is the favorite right now. Lamar Jackson is. I think Baker Mayfield should deserve it if we're going to go based off numbers. But he's been quietly doing it. Joe Flacco, oh my goodness. Imagine he came in out of nowhere sitting off his couch with his kids. 4 straight games of over 300 yards. Yeah, he's absolutely balling out. But I think he's going to win Comeback Player of the Year over Damar Hamlin. That's for sure. I mean, Joe Flacco, I just put up his numbers. He has over 1,200 yards in 4 games, a slew of touchdowns. And I think that he deserves Comeback Player of the Year just for that. No disrespect to Damar Hamlin. I think, with the whole situation of him and, what he's endured and gone through, but he's only played 2 snaps out on the NFL field, both of which have resulted in penalties on him. But yet again, I think, what he endured, what he went through, and through the adversity of it all, could win it. But I'm looking at it as a Comeback Player of the Year, somebody who you didn't see last year make a huge difference this year. I think it's Joe Flacco, the real Joe Shiesty. Joe Flacco. No, he's been playing absolutely amazing though. He does deserve Comeback Player of the Year. I mean, just look at the numbers. Watch him play. He's made the Browns fun to watch. Who would say that in 2023 heading into 2024, right? I mean, oof. But yeah, I think NFL MVP, it's up in the air now. You have no clear MVP, and we're heading into the last few weeks of the NFL season. The Patriots, they've been out of the playoffs for weeks now. But they got a win over the Broncos on Christmas Eve. That was a good gift. Chad Ryland had the game-winning field goal. I've heard mixed emotions. Fans are like, no, we should continue tanking so we can get the number 2 pick. We can get somebody good. But with a win, we're number 4. I'll take it. Take Jaden Daniels, the Heisman winner from LSU. Take him. I like it. I like the pick. I'm not disappointed in it whatsoever. I like it. I think it's a good move. Bill Belichick will never tank. That's not in his DNA. He will never tank. He'll never purposely lose. He won't. There's just too much pride into that to be like, yes, let's go out there the game after game and lose. Bailey Zappi's been playing good too. Got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, I think that with Bill and his ego of not wanting to lose, these guys want to win too. You're not out here and be like, all right, you know what? Let's just go suck today, boys, and lose, and we'll get the second pick, and someone's going to get replaced. No, that's not the mindset that you need. It's a winning mindset. It's a Patriot way. It certainly is the Patriot way. And if you're just going to be like, okay, let's win. Yeah, these guys are happy winning. It's good to see. Doesn't matter whether this team's won 2 games, 3 games, 17. They're going to be happy winning because that's what they're there to do. That's their job. They're playing football to win at the end of the day. I mean, if we continue to go down in the draft, like, hey, Bill, let's start losing, right? I mean, you got to find the middle ground there. I think they have. I think the Patriots have. I mean, winning against an AFC team is fine. You know, the Patriots still own the Broncos. I'm not complaining there whatsoever. But just in a few minutes, going to have my friend Tony. He's going to hop on. We're going to be talking a lot of hoops. He's very knowledgeable in basketball, but we're going to, get to that in just a minute. But we're going to have college football playoffs. Those are starting up, and I'm so excited for this. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. This is it. Do I think it's right? No, not at all. I don't think so. But man, do we have a good one? Michigan, Alabama, Washington, Texas. It's a good college football playoffs. And then we have the 5 and 6, my opinion, the real national championship game, FSU and Georgia. Because let me say this. If FSU wins and goes as the only undefeated team this season against the reigning national champions and beat them, yeah, what does that say about FSU? They should have been in the college football playoffs. I talked about this for like a good 15 minutes on another episode, so go listen to that because don't get me started with FSU. But no, who am I taking? I mean, Michigan, Alabama. Oh, you can't bet against Nick Saban. You can't, right? Right? Like it's not like you can say, all right, yeah, Michigan's just gonna steamroll them. No, it's gonna be a very close game, very competitive game. If Michigan blows them out, I think FSU deserve to be in there. That's for sure. Michigan's winning over Alabama. Yep. Give me Texas with the upset. I like this Texas team. I really do. I think Washington has played some good games this year. But I don't think it's enough to belong in the national championship game. So Michigan, Texas, national championship game. Let's see, I'm right. I mean, I have another 10 days until the national championship game. So there'll be one more episode. We'll revisit this. Yes, we'll revisit this. I'll see if I'm right or wrong. But I'm locking in right now Michigan, Texas. That's who's going to be in there. We got a great weekend of sports up ahead. This is a good time of year. NFL's wrapping up. NBA's in full gear. College football playoffs. Conference play in college basketball. And by the way, I missed the Big East, so please come back soon. I mean, it's been like a whole week and a half with no college basketball in the Big East. And so I'm like, what am I going to do type thing. So yeah, Michigan, Texas, national championship game. Heard it here first. Let's see if I'm right in a week when I do my next episode. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, it's been a lot of good sports on lately. So why not have an upset in there? Why make it a boring 1-2 national championship game? Well, give me a 1-3. And the real national champions, FSU, beating Georgia. That's what's going to happen. I'm telling you this right now. They're going to go as the only team undefeated because they deserved a spot in the college football playoffs. I digress, though. All right, next, we got my good friend Tony. He's going to come on. He's going to chat with me. We're going to talk some hoops, talk about who's all-time starting five. Who is in his? Oh, let me tell you right now, I was not happy at who we put at the power forward, that's for sure. So make sure, stick around, listen. We're going to have Tony on right now. So on today's episode of Halfway with Hathaway, I got my boy Tony here with us today. Tony, we play a lot of hoops together, so I know his knowledge is there. He knows a lot about basketball, so that's why I wanted to bring him on today to really talk about what's kind of going on in the NBA right now. The Suns have been struggling, as of late. They're finally getting Bradley Beal back. The big three has been kind of moving around. They haven't really played too many games together, and there's a lot of frustration on KD's end. So Tony, do you think that he should leave the Suns, Kevin Durant?
I don't. Obviously the season is starting to get from the beginning more into the middle.
Mhm.
And, obviously it's not working right now. It's obviously just Booker and KD, but I mean, wherever Kevin Durant goes, or if he requests a trade again, regardless to wherever team he goes to, if he's not in free agency, it's going to be a bummy team. I mean, the Suns were loaded before they had KD. You have to give up a lot, obviously, for a guy
Mhm.
like him. Um, Honestly, I think it's just his lack of his like mindset, I guess. I think he needs to just figure it out. He has Devin Booker, top three shooting guard in the league. He's got Beal coming back, who's not really a point guard, but he's a combo guard. They got a lot of scoring. They got a veteran big. So they have the pieces. He just has to learn to be a leader and take them all together. But no, I definitely don't think that he should go anywhere. I mean, it's not going to get any better than Phoenix. They gave
Yeah.
up a lot, and still he has good firepower there.
Yeah, I just think with this whole Suns, they're not healthy right now. We're not seeing this team at its best. And that can be frustrating, especially for a guy like Kevin Durant who's been kind of going around a lot and talking about who's been bouncing from team to team, for most of his career. So I think with that's a question that maybe should arise is all right, is KD gonna leave the Suns if things don't work out the way they should?
No, 1000%. And like the thing is with KD, I mean, obviously wasn't a fan of his move to Golden State, but the one I understand and him leaving Brooklyn, I have an understanding for because even though he's like a
Mhm.
superstar, case in Brooklyn was Kyrie was leaving, and realistically, he wasn't going to be able to do much with Ben Simmons as is. So I can understand that. But as long as Phoenix has Booker and Booker is staying loyal to Phoenix, I don't see why KD should go anywhere. Obviously, if Book left, it'd be a different story. KD's older. He's not going to really. I mean, he's obviously one of the best players in the league, but like just age and body wise, I don't know how well he's going to be able to hold up and carry a team like throughout the regular season and the
Mhm.
playoffs and stuff like that. So I think as long as he has another top player like Booker on his team, he should stay there and try to make it work.
A team that sucks. I mean, flat out, just absolutely sucks. I've never seen a team this bad before. It's the Detroit Pistons. On Thursday night, they lost to the Celtics in overtime for their 28th straight loss in a row. Most in NBA history. I mean, this every team right now is playing like it's game 7. You do not want to be that team that snaps the Pistons losing streak because then you're about to be clowned on social media. Everyone's going to come after you and then you're going to be known as that team that snapped their streak. So that's why the Celtics, I mean, I thought they're going to lose that game on Thursday.
Yeah.
I was nervous because I was like, if it's any team, of course, it's going to be the best team in the NBA to lose. But luckily, they pulled out. Derek White was clutch in the second half. But the Pistons stink. I mean, what do they need to do if they really want to get back on track winning?
Honestly, I think it's with coaching. I mean, Monty Williams is a great coach. Obviously, he can make good teams into great teams, but there's some coaches who can make good teams great, and then there's just some coaches that are meant for developing young talent.
Hmm.
And obviously, Detroit has a lot of that. They have Jalen Duren, they have Cade, they got Ivy, they have Stewart. And honestly, the team is very young. I think they only have like Bogdanovich as one of their
Yeah.
main vets, and it's like he's a great player, but he's not like a leader vet. Like you need like a Haslam or like like a Dream. I guess Draymond's a little crazy
Oh.
too right now, but they just need to like sign some minimum player like veterans just to get those young guys right because obviously Cade is balling. I mean, they're
Yeah.
losing, but the man is balling. I think he had like multiple 40-point games
Yeah.
and all these losses he's been having and stuff like that. Ivy and Duren, I mean, they're young. Asar Thompson is really good too. I mean, he's great defensively. I think I don't know if Monty Williams is going to be able to do it, but if a coach out there can unlock that potential, he can be another like Kawhi Leonard, caliber build, in my opinion, just the way he plays and his IQ defensively. But yeah, I think honestly it's coaching and just a need of veteran players. That's really just my opinion on it. They're all young. And I think that goes into the loss that they had against the Celtics
Hmm.
because, they won the first quarter and then they almost go up 20 the second. And, young guys are going to be young guys. They probably took their foot off the gas a little bit, got comfortable, and Derek White made them pay. Tatum obviously is going to be Tatum, and the Celtics, a great team. They're going to show you what happens if you take your foot off the gas. And I think that's what happened with Detroit just the other day. I think they very well could have won that game if they had some more
No,
leadership on that
I
team.
I thought it was gonna happen. I thought they're gonna pull out the upset. But I saw this thing. The Pistons had an open practice for people like you and me, Tony, to go in and
Mm.
try out for the team. Where was our invite? Like, why didn't we hear about this?
I know. I mean, honestly, I think it's funny, and I think it's more. I don't really think they are taking that serious. I think it's more of a like. I mean that even though it's good for them tanking wise, like getting a pick, I think the Pistons right now they have to find a way to stay relevant, like popularity wise, because they're losing a lot. So I think this is like a way of them trying to like involve fans and keep the energy flowing with Detroit, even though they're losing a lot. And it's more of a like commodity thing, but I think it's more of an attention cry more than
Mm.
people like them actually trying to sign people. Because if that was the case, they would really look at G League guys and stuff like that or overseas. I don't think they would just have open runs like that and just sign somebody off the street,
Well, I mean,
in
what
my
would you do?
opinion.
What would you do though, right? Like you pull up to this open tryout. They're like, you know what, we'll give you a 10 day, you know, 50K, 10 days. We'll see what's up. Are you
I
taking
take
it?
it.
You
Of
taking it?
course. I mean, I love
You leaving the job
basketball.
that you have now?
Yes, absolutely. Not even a question. I wouldn't even call him. I would be on the court with my jersey ready. I mean, I don't know how much I'd be able to do out there, but I mean, obviously I show the heart, try to get things going over there. But yeah, absolutely, I would leave my job in a heartbeat.
Your first game after this Pistons open practice, they sign you 10 day, you get 50K, you're playing the Celtics. You guarding Tatum?
Honestly, I'm guarding whoever I'm gonna guard. I mean, if somehow I ever got the opportunity to take a 10-day, I would obviously do everything in my power. I don't know how much I could do against a dude who's practically a foot taller than me, but I go out there, show heart, maybe maybe I might not get a roster spot, but I could be a practice player,
Yeah.
something like that, get a job with them somehow. So, yeah, I would for sure take it seriously. And whatever, Monty would want me to guard, whether it's Tatum or Brown or even Porzingis, I'm gonna try, I'm not
Yeah.
very tall, but I'll poke the ball loose.
No, yeah, no, that's for sure. Because I mean, I know if I was guarding Tatum and I was wearing a Detroit Pistons jersey and I saw this man on a fast break running with me and I see him jump up in the air, I'm moving out the way. I'm not being put
Oh
on a
yeah.
poster first game.
Oh yeah. Nah, I would honestly, as bad as it sounds, bro, like bad publicity is good publicity. So
That's true.
if that's the way I get some clout, if I have to go out like Jason Terry in 2012 or 2013, I'll take it. I'll let that man put me in a poster. I would comment something, try to get some clout off it. Maybe I could be
Start some beef.
Exactly. Maybe be a social media, icon based off that the dude who got dunked on by JT. Yeah, I take anything I could get out there for sure. But
The Pelicans the other day, they recently moved Jordan Hawkins to the G League. I hate this. I absolutely hate it. I think this is one of the worst things I've seen the Pelicans do in recent years. Based off of because Jordan Hawkins is probably their best shooter besides Trey Murphy on that team. There's really nobody else. I mean, you're gonna have Najee Marshall chuck up some threes. No, no, I'm not
mm,
watching that. And Jordan Hawkins created a lot of space for this Pelicans team because this is a team that's big. It's a big team. You got Bi and Zion. You're gonna
mhm.
need somebody who can space the floor out and who can shoot the ball. So then, you have Zion driving down the lane. Everyone's just gonna clog that lane, try to stop Zion. But then boom, you can just kick it out. Hawkins corner three, boom, it's good. And so
Mm.
I'm not a big fan of this because I'm not biased or anything, but I love Jordan Hawkins. He's probably one of my favorite rookies right now. I mean, Jami Jaquez Jr. He's on the Miami Heat. He's
Yeah, it's
nasty. He's
tough. Yeah,
he's
he's
really
tough over
good.
there. Yeah.
But I made a case Jordan Hawkins could be potential top three in rookie of the year, but he hasn't been playing in 4 games and then they move him to the G League. It's not a good look for the Pelicans. I think they need him more than they think.
Oh yeah. Definitely agree. It's definitely it's a questionable decision, but on like another hand, I kind of understand it just because like I know they had him in the rotation for a minute because McCollum was out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But with him coming back, you have CJ, you got to manage minutes with, you have Alvarado, you have like those guys, your 2 point guards. I mean, Hawkins is a combo guard. You could slide him at the two, but I think the Pelicans' idea here is obviously I don't think they're sending him to the G League because he's a scrub. I think yes, he's a great shooter. I
Mm-hmm.
honestly like I'll say it right now, I would say he's probably top 10 shooter in this league.
Oh,
Like just hands down. It's a wild take for a rookie, but the
I
man has
like
an
it.
arm. Yeah, he got an arm, but as a point guard, especially in this league, shooting of course is one of the more important things. But I think it's going to be good for him to be able to develop the other aspects. Obviously defensively, playmaking stuff like that to
Mhm.
just make him more into a serviceable NBA player, maybe even an all-star caliber player after some seasons. He's young, he's got plenty of time to be in this league. With the way he was playing in the NBA and the way he's going to probably be playing in the G League, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So I think obviously it's tough that they're sending him down there, but I think in essence it's gonna work out well. It's gonna work out well.
I think so. I mean, Trey Murphy, he got sent down to the G League his rookie year as well. I mean, and look where it got him. I mean, that's Trigger Trey out there. He's a hooper for real. So I think
Yes, sir.
like right now, not a good move, but maybe in hindsight, like if we're talking the future, maybe a year or two now, like okay, maybe it was like a good because it's a developmental league. We talked about this before. It's a good developmental league, maybe just to kind of get some things here and there worked out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like the Rockets did the same thing with Amen Thompson. Obviously
Mhm.
he's still kind of getting back into the flow, but they got him developing his stuff out. They did this. Like, Raptors did it a few years ago with Van Fleet and Siakam,
Yeah.
and look at how those guys panned it
Yeah.
out. The G League, obviously it's a developmental league, and some people look at it sideways, but it really is good for young players. Now, if you're like 35, 30, and you're getting sent there, yes, you're a bum. But as a young guy, I wouldn't take it so hard. I think that it's going to be good for his development, and you know, McCollum is getting older, and Alvarado's not going to be a starting point guard on any
Mhm.
championship caliber team. I think they're putting their cards with Hawkins, and so they're using this time that they can to develop him. So when the time comes and his name is called, he'll be ready.
Yes. No, I agree. And Tony, last thing for you.
Yes, sir.
I want your all-time starting five.
All-time
Who's
starting
your
five.
all-time starting five?
Okay, well, I gotta go with the chef at the one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Our arguably greatest shooter of all time there. I would go Jordan at the two.
Of course.
Just greatest player of all time in my opinion.
Oh,
LeBron at the LeBron at the three, I gotta say,
Yep.
just because he's obviously top two in my opinion, and they're both great. But LeBron can pass around a little more. There's a difference in the mindset, so
Mm-hmm.
I think they would coexist. At the four, I mean, you could go with a lot of different fours, but I'm gonna go Giannis. Most people would say Tim
Oh,
Duncan
yeah,
or
over
Garnett
Big Timmy.
over Big Timmy over KG, just because I think Giannis is up to par. He's athletic.
Mm,
Obviously, as he's gotten older, he's learned to stretch the floor. He plays in a more talented league or a more skilled league, so he just can do a lot of things that
yeah,
most big men can't. And in my opinion, that not even Timmy D could do back in the day. And at the five, I mean,
it's a
I
tough
would
one.
probably go. I want to say Shaq, but I would go with Akeem just because Shaq, just
Mm,
too many egos on that team. Shaq is not gonna play D seriously if Jordan getting up the shots and Steph. I'll go Hakeem. He's selfless superstar there. He's got good post moves. He can stretch the floor out. I mean, he can't shoot a three, but he can hit some middies. So
mm,
I'll go Hakeem there with my five.
I like that lineup. Only
Yes,
thing I'm
sir.
changing,
Phil,
I think I'm changing Shaq. I'm putting Shaq at the five.
back at the five. Okay,
I
that's
am.
that's a solid. I mean, he's the most dominant big man of all time. I
Yeah.
mean, no one could really stop Shaq for a whole 48 minutes.
No.
So I would do it there. But thinking like all the intangibles and
Mm.
stuff, I would put Hakeem over Shaq.
Oof. So who's your sixth man? Who's coming off the bench for you?
Ooh, six man is tough. I mean, a lot of guys that I could go with, but for six man,
I think there's one good answer.
oh,
Kobe.
Kobe. I'll go
Yeah,
Kobe.
you have to.
Yeah, you got to put Kobe. I mean, you take Jordan out the game, you basically have Michael Jordan Jr. There's no loss with Kobe Bryant.
Pretty much. I mean,
No
that's yeah.
loss.
I agree. I'm
You
with you there.
basically you have Mike out there.
I'm with you there. I think my old time starting five, that would be it. I think, I mean,
Mm.
except for Shaq, I'd put Shaq at the five. Giannis at
No,
the
no Magic
four.
over Curry.
No, Curry's a better point guard.
Oh, that's
Oh, he
that's
really
good.
is. I've come to terms with that. I think Curry's like the best point guard we've ever seen. And Giannis at the four, I like it. I say give it a few more years. I think Giannis could be a top 10 player all time.
Yep. No, yeah,
He
for
he
sure.
wins one more championship. He will solidify himself.
Yeah, he
Just
probably
because
gonna. Go ahead.
just because of how dominant he is. He won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all in the same season. We haven't seen that, for a long time. So just the way he's a freak in nature, hence the name Greek Freak. I mean, I love Giannis. And ooh, but I'd probably put Timmy at the four though.
Made the four still. That's fair. That's solid. Solid. I can't argue Timmy. I would just personally have Giannis. Just
Hmm.
different in mindsets and egos and stuff like that. I mean, Timmy wasn't egoful, but I would like to see more
Yeah,
intensity out there.
of course. No, I'm with you there. But Tony, I appreciate your time, man.
Yes,
I
sir,
really
man. I
do.
appreciate you for having me on, bro.
Yes, of course. All right. So Tony, thank you so much. And we'll stay in touch.
Yes, sir, man. You have a good one, bro.
You too. Once again, thank you, Tony, coming on. Really appreciate it. That's going to wrap things up on the final episode of 2023 of Halfway with Hathaway. Really appreciate you guys this year. I know I just started a few months into this whole podcasting thing, but I really do appreciate you guys listening and viewing and just the constant feedback and support from everybody. So really have a great 2024. Thank you for a great year. And hey, I'll see you next year.